Hello everyone. In Asian culture, dim sum is much more than just food. It's a way to commune and connect with friends and loved ones. Dim sum means to touch the heart, and specifically is a collection of small bite-sized appetizers invented in China hundreds of years ago to accompany the tea served during the traditional gathering known as yum cha. If you ever ventured into Vegas's Chinatown during the holiday season, you'll know that the allure of dim sum draws crowds like moths to a flame. Lines wind their way through the restaurant and out the door, and a 1 or 2 hour wait is practically guaranteed. We learned this lesson the hard way our first year here. The scene is vibrant but chaotic, and the packed parking lots can quickly dim some of the joy of the occasion. But here's the good news. There's a hidden gem, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the frenzy of Chinatown. It's a place where the dim sum rivals, if not surpasses, the quality of the most popular spots, yet it comes at a more reasonable price and without the endless wait and chaotic energy. And they're also open Christmas and New Year's. This place, nestled quietly off the beaten path, is our little secret. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Taste of Asia at the Suncoast Hotel and Casino, a haven of culinary artistry where every piece of dim sum is handcrafted with care by skilled chefs who approach their craft with passion, precision, and the utmost professionalism. Each bite is a testament to their dedication. And, a special treat, stay tuned until the end because Taste of Asia has an exclusive offer for our viewers. Trust me, this is an experience you won't want to miss. Okay, let's get started. While their traditional hot tea is available for just $2, we decided to try the goji berry longan tea. This tea has been brewed for the specific purpose of making you feel energized yet at ease. It arrives caffeine-free, but buzzing with a kind of gentle, natural energy that doesn't jolt but soothes, relaxed yet alive, like a Sunday morning walk in a sun-dappled park. It makes a wonderful and unique addition to the tea-centric tradition of yum cha. The Har Gow here are almost too exquisite to eat, like tiny translucent seashells carefully plucked from an ocean of culinary perfection. Known also as crystal shrimp dumplings, these delicate morsels are a cornerstone of dim sum, adored equally by Asian and Westerners alike. To call them a challenge to make would be an understatement. Crafting that near-invisible wrapper so gossamer thin it could vanish at any moment is an art form in itself. And here, the art is elevated to something truly extraordinary. The shrimp filling is a perfect example of balance and restraint. Plump, whole crustaceans seasoned just enough to let their natural sweetness shine, with a whisper of garlic and salt. The texture is sublime, the bite a perfect interplay of tender chew and juicy burst. In a city brimming with dim sum houses, the seafood here soars with the best, offering a purity of flavor that feels almost reverent. These are Har Gow you dream about. Shiu Mai, the iconic Cantonese dumpling, carries a history as rich as its flavor. It's said to be among the very first dim sum dishes, making it a cornerstone of this culinary tradition. You'll find Shiu Mai scattered across Asia's foodscape, from bustling streets in Hong Kong to cozy izakayas in Japan. In Hawaii, they call it pork hash, a beloved staple of the islanders. But what we have here at Taste of Asia is the original Canton-style Shiu Mai, the kind that defines the genre. Plump and decadent, each dumpling is stuffed with a perfectly balanced mix of pork, shrimp, and woodier mushrooms. The filling achieves that coveted harmony of fattiness and umami, seasoned with an expert hand that knows how to deliver bold flavors without tipping into excess. Topped with vibrant fish roe, these Shiu Mai are a feast for the eyes as much as the palate. The delicate wonton wrappers, handcrafted daily, elevate the entire experience. And if you're feeling adventurous, a dip in the house-made chili oil adds a fiery depth that's nothing short of transformative. These Shiu Mai are a revelation, possibly the best I've ever tasted. Do yourself a favor, don't leave Taste of Asia without savoring them. There's a quiet, mesmerizing poetry to the craft of making these dumplings. We were fortunate enough to step behind the curtain and into the kitchen, where the process unfolds like a well-choreographed ballet. Every element is a testament to their commitment to perfection. The dough, lovingly made from scratch, carries the weight of tradition and the promise of something extraordinary. The filling is tucked in with astonishing speed and precision. Each movement seems like a simple flourish, a mere flip of the wrist. But try it yourself, and you immediately realize it's actually a skill honed through years of practice and dedication. The chef's hands work with such precision, such mastery, that you'd swear these little parcels of joy were machine-produced. But no, here, perfection is handmade. There's a certain type of love required to painstakingly produce dumpling after dumpling for hours on end, and that love carries through when you pop one of these treasures into your mouth and enjoy. It's one of the reasons we return to Taste of Asia time and again. These Scallion Pancakes, so good, they've ruined me for all other pancakes. They're light, flaky, and stuffed with just the right amount of scallions and salt to deliver a flavor uppercut that leaves your taste buds reeling. Usually, Scallion Pancakes taste like someone merely whispered the word onion at a plain piece of dough, but these are like a full-on scallion air horn. The crispy, charred exterior is like a crunchy high five for your mouth, perfectly balancing the soft, flaky layers inside. And let's talk about the homemade hoisin sauce. So good, I consider drinking it straight. Don't judge. This sauce doesn't just elevate the dish, it takes it to the moon. Braised chicken feet, nicknamed Phoenix Claws, in an attempt to raise the simple barnyard denizen to iconic heights, are the ultimate test of the adventurous eater. Packed with collagen, they're like the beauty serum of the food world, if you can get past the fact that you're gnawing on feet. Personally, I love the flavor, but the bones, they're like a miniature minefield for your teeth. Eating them is less dining and more strategic peeling as you delicately strip off the gelatinous skin like some kind of culinary archaeologist. Don't get me wrong, they're delicious, but if given a choice, I'd take tendon any day over playing guess where the bone is with chicken feet. Well, while not my cup of tea, I do know what those who seek out chicken feet like. And for the chicken feet aficionados, you're going to love this dish. Whatever you do, don't eat the paper. It's easy to mistakenly do so when you're holding one of these steamed buns. You just want to dive in and start eating. At Taste of Asia, they call them Manapua, which is the Hawaiian equivalent of the Chinese pork bao, brought to the islands long ago by Cantonese immigrants. The buns offered a portable, hearty meal wrapped in pillowy softness. But finding a truly handmade version these days is as rare as spotting Bigfoot having a dodo bird sandwich. That's why discovering these particular Manapua feels like striking gold. The dough here is excellent, a bread lover's delight. It's impossibly light, delicately fluffy, and kissed with just enough yeasty tang to make you pause between bites to savor it. Tear one open, and you'll see a field of air pockets that speak to the care and craftsmanship behind it. And then there's the filling. Oh, the filling. The char siu pork inside is subtly different from most versions you'll find in Las Vegas. This isn't the one-note sweetness you've grown accustomed to. It's something deeper, more nuanced. The chef, trained in Hong Kong, has perfected a balance that's just sweet enough, with a trace of five spice that lingers like a well-told story. Every bite is a treasure. These Manapua, more than just food, they're edible poetry, a little piece of history, steamed and wrapped for your pleasure. I love the presentation of these popcorn chicken. Served in a cute little miniature fryer basket, they have quite an eye for detail at Taste of Asia. I grew up with a mom that was from the South, so I've had my share of fried chicken. Consider myself somewhat of an expert. And this is some quality fried chicken. Here they use dark thigh meat that's tender and juicy with a hint of Chinese five spice. I love the fried basil that adorns the crispy exterior. The breading is crunchy, and the meat of the chicken is moist and flavorful. This dish seems to be growing in popularity with each passing day, and this is a wonderful rendition not to be missed. Crab Rangoon may seem like an unlikely candidate for culinary reinvention. As many of you may already know, this iconic appetizer was born not in Asia, but in America, crafted by a chef at the original Trader Vic's, a Hawaiian-themed restaurant that was as much about escapism as it was about food. But while its origins are decidedly American, Crab Rangoon has since been embraced, adapted, and elevated by Asian kitchens to the point it's treated more as a long-lost child returned to the nest. At Taste of Asia, they've taken this humble dish and turned it into something extraordinary. Here, the chef leans into his creative instincts, folding house-made curry into the cream cheese filling, creating a version that is as nuanced as it is indulgent. And the crab? It's fresh, not the imitation stuff that so often lurks within lesser versions of this dish. The result is a filling that's not just creamy, but vibrant, a tapestry of textures and flavors that surprises with every bite. When you split one open, the interior is stunning. Swirls of golden curry and fresh crab meat mingling with the rich cream cheese, a visual promise of the flavors to come. A quick dip into their homemade sweet and sour sauce, which is a bright, tangy counterpoint, and the Rangoon achieves perfect balance of crispy, creamy, sweet, and savory. This is no ordinary appetizer. It's a reimagination, a love letter to a dish that's become so much more than its humble exogenous origins. Gyoza dumplings, or pot stickers if you prefer, are the kind of dish that makes this dim sum spot unforgettable. Where else in Chinatown will you find handmade wontons of this caliber? Nowhere, I assure you. These dumplings are beautiful, their fillings a tapestry of flavors. Rich, savory umami from the perfect blend of pork and shrimp, balanced by garlic chives, soy, and sesame oil. Each bite is a burst of fatty, juicy decadence. As I always say, where there's fat, there's flavor. The exteriors are an art form, pan-fried to a golden, crisp perfection that contrasts beautifully with the soft, luscious interior. And then there's the dipping sauce, a tangy, aromatic blend of black Chinese vinegar, soy, and spring onions, designed to elevate every bite. And mission accomplished. Just look at how glossy and moist they are, practically glistening on the plate. If you could only taste one thing today, make it these gyoza. You'll understand what perfection tastes like. There are dumplings, and then there are these Xiao Long Bao, little parcels of joy that seem less like food and more like an edible act of devotion. From the first bite, it's clear these are among the best I've ever had the privilege of tasting. Let's start with the soup, because really, that's the soul of a proper Xiao Long Bao. Here the broth is fantastic, crafted from a technique that feels almost indulgent in its purity, packing as many whole chickens, bones and all, into a pot with the absolute minimum amount of water. It's an expensive, time-honored trick, one I grew up watching my mother use to coax magic out of a humble stock pot. The result? A concentrated elixir so profoundly flavorful it could upend your entire understanding of chicken soup. It's not just good, it's glorious. Then there's the filling, porky center packed with so much liquid gold that eating these dumplings feels like navigating a delightful minefield. Bite too eagerly, and you risk a good dousing of soup that will threaten your clothing, or in my case, my dignity. While I usually opt to devour the whole dumpling in one mouthful, for the sake of journalistic integrity and to show you the insides, I took one for the team and bit one in half. Big mistake, although my dry cleaner and my dogs are going to have a field day. Some might suggest piercing the dumpling with a chopstick to sip the soup first, but here's my advice: don't. These dumplings are so generously filled that such a maneuver risks losing the very essence that makes them extraordinary. Approach them carefully, savor them reverently, and let their perfection wash over you in one single bite. These Xiao Long Bao aren't just dumplings. They're a masterclass in everything that makes food worth obsessing over. One of the funniest things I've ever seen was someone at dim sum trying to eat the actual lotus leaf, thinking it was edible, like a grape leaf. We always call these nature's little anvils because they're so heavy and filling. I do, however, love sticky rice and lotus leaf, and these are wonderful. They're glutinous rice stuffed with quail eggs, chicken, pork sausage, and shiitake mushroom. I love these, and you will too. Also, consider spicing things up. Ask for a little chili oil and enjoy. Golden and glistening, these dumplings are seared to a perfect crisp. Their dough blistered just enough to promise a delightful crunch at first bite. They're stunning, really, the kind of dumplings you dream about. If you're like me, the type of person who dreams about such things. Now, I've had my share of disappointments with this dish, the most regrettable ones being at New Asian Barbecue. But the best? Until recently, that was at Fortune in Chinatown. These dumplings, though, they tie for the top spot. The dough is homemade, and you can tell from the first bite. It's soft, yet substantial, with an impossibly satisfying texture that only comes from scratch-made care. Then there's the filling, a glorious burst of garlic chives that hits you immediately. They don't hold back on flavor here. The pork and shrimp, phenomenal. Each bite is rich with umami, seasoned with just the right amount of salt to let the ingredients shine. This is exactly what a shrimp and chive dumpling should taste like. Vibrant, savory, and unforgettable. It's the kind of dumpling that makes you thankful for the simple magic of good food. I've always loved these little glutinous balls of dough. They have such a great mouthfeel. My adopted Chinese mother, Rose, taught me to make them when I worked for her as a teen. The filling here is a wonderful red bean, or as Rose referred to it, Chinese chocolate. This is the perfect dessert for me. I am addicted to sesame. I'm a huge fan of these donuts. They're used frequently in savory dim sum, but today we're having them as a dessert. They're a departure from what most would consider a donut. They're very light and airy, and more like a cross between puff pastry and a croissant. They're unsweetened, so you dip them in sweetened condensed milk. Yum. There's something downright mesmerizing about these black lava buns, which deviate from the usual technique of using charcoal to color the dough. Here, the signature hue comes from squid ink, not some forbidden powder. It transforms these buns into little black orbs, adorned with a hand-painted stripe of gold, that seem almost too beautiful to eat. But then, you break them open, and the custard erupts like molten lava, a warm, rich tide that floods out with a force you don't expect. Don't rush, take your time. The dough also is wonderful, made by hand, and it tastes every bit of the effort. Light as air, with just the right amount of yeastiness. It's a marvel on its own. It's the kind of dough you could easily eat alone, no filling required. But then, the custard pushes it over the top. Don't miss these. Well, it doesn't take a mind reader to figure out how we feel about Taste of Asia. It's a shining example of what a Pan-Asian restaurant can achieve. Top-notch food, made from scratch, executed with passion and precision. While there were a few dishes I criticized, they were very good dishes, just not my cup of tea, mostly due to the difficulty of eating them. This is obviously a Westerner's view. Those who love these dishes will love them at Taste of Asia as well. I'd be hard-pressed to decide a single dish of the day, as everything was so good. With that said, my top dishes today were the chive dumpling, the Gyoza dumpling, the Har Gow, and of course, the Xiao Long Bao. We were lucky enough to discover Taste of Asia several months ago, and we find ourselves coming here all the time. It's been our little secret spot to frequent for dim sum, yes, but honestly, for all their Asian food. And when Chinatown dim sum restaurants are packed for the holidays, Taste of Asia is a great spot to avoid the chaos and madness and sit down with friends and loved ones and share a great dim sum feast. Taste of Asia also offers many great deals on lunch specials daily for just $9.95 and happy hour dim sum and drinks for just $5 between 3 and 6. You can also use your points on your player's card towards your meal. Whether you're a Las Vegas local or a visitor looking for a memorable meal, Taste of Asia should be on your radar. Join us next Friday, December 27, 2024, when we release our next review. We found a great all-you-can-eat off-strip sushi restaurant, and we're excited to show and tell you all about it. This might be a good time to hit the notifications bell so you get a reminder when the new review becomes available. And of course, it's always a good time to like, subscribe, comment, or share. It helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Here is a special offer we told you about at the beginning of our video. Tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you and receive 10% off. This offer is good through March 31st, 2025. Well, we'll be back to Taste of Asia soon. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And don't forget to tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you. Until we eat again, bon appetit.